G'day everyone, this is another Footyology match dispatch, and we're reporting on Essendon's thrilling 6-point win over Sydney at the SCG. Breaking runabouts for the Bombers up in the Harbour City, stretching back to 2009, and they've lost some heartbreakers there too, won by 5 points and 1 point over the last 3 seasons. This is the third game in the last 4 between these sides at the SCG, decided by a kick or less. The difference this time, obviously, that the Bombers prevailed, although that victory wasn't assured until Darcy Parish threaded a terrific set shot from the boundary from about 35 metres out with only about 32 seconds left on the clock. Sydney actually won the last centre bounce clearance, and young James Rowbottom had a flying shot on the run which hit the post. Still left them with a chance to draw the game, but Essendon were able to take the ball around the boundary line and maintain possession for the siren to go, the ball on the wing when it went. Look, the Bombers in the end probably deserved the win. They led all day. Sydney actually never got in front, and that win probably founded on their dominance in the first quarter. They kicked the first 3 goals of the game, 2 of them to Anthony McDonald, Tip and Woody, who didn't do much after that, but certainly made his presence felt in that little bit. Jake Stringer chipping in with a couple of goals there. Sydney surged right back into the game towards the end of that first quarter, but also in the second term when they really dominated play with 3 goals to 1. But Essendon just managed to keep that scoreboard damage not too severe and still led narrowly at the halftime break. The Dons came bursting out of the blocks again at the start of the third quarter with Sean McKernan kicking 2 crucial goals in the first 4 minutes. Tom Papley, who was terrific for the Swans in the absence of critical key forwards like Buddy Franklin and Sam Reid, was always a threat for Sydney. He responded to keep them within a couple of goals. And the last 2 goals of the third quarter to the Swans as well, to Jake Lloyd and Lewis Taylor, left at just 7 points the difference at that final change. 1 goal each in the final term. McKernan put Essendon 14 points up. Kyle Langford, who played a pretty good game, had a chance to basically seal it, but put his chance out in the full. Tom Papley brought the margin back to just 1 point with 2 minutes 6 seconds left on the clock before the last-minute heroics from Parish. And Parish, outstanding in the finish, 13 possessions in that last quarter. He'd been quiet up until that point, but a massive last quarter, which really probably in the end was the difference between Essendon winning or losing. Zach Merritt, who was pretty consistent all game, he had a huge last quarter too, 12 possessions for him in that final term. Dylan Shield, very good for the Bombers all day out of midfield. Andy McGrath, very solid. Adam Saad, terrific in defence. Really showed great judgment to come off his man several times and intercept what might have been scoring forays for the Swans. For the Swans, well, Jake Lloyd, very consistent, high possession winner as per usual. Luke Parker, very solid. Josh Kennedy, a bit quieter than you might think normally, but when he did come into the game, he certainly exerted influence, and his best period was probably during that second term. And like I said, in the absence of those key forwards, a couple of small forwards were able to keep Sydney in touch on the scoreboard, and that was Papley, obviously, and Lewis Taylor, who didn't necessarily do a lot, but certainly made the most of his chances. So let's have a look at those final scores. Essendon's 5 goals in the first quarter, obviously critical. Another 4 in the third term. The Swans also with 4. So neck and neck really for most of this game, and then 2 goals each in that last term. Boy, these sides, they like nipping at each other's heels. A tough game, a tight game. By no means a spectacular game. Pretty gruelling stuff at stages. But Essendon will be very pleased to come away with the points, particularly given they seem to be running out of juice a bit towards the final stages of that third quarter. Disappointing for the Swans. They're now 1-1. Essendon 2 and zip. Both those victories coming by 6 points. So they've been on the right end of a couple of twists of fate in those first 2 rounds. An exciting game, certainly entertaining Sunday afternoon footy fare. Stay tuned for Footyology podcast, which we'll be recording later tonight. Full wrap-up of this second round. That should go up online around 10ish tonight and certainly up there all day tomorrow. This was another Footyology Match Dispatch. Thanks for your company. We'll see you again soon.